Okay, welcome back from your break. We are going to do a superficial backline sequence today. 2 blocks, blanket. You can use other props if you want to slip them in. We're going to start coming down onto our backs. Make sure that you have space overhead and check in for a moment in restorative rest, bent knee posture, tuning into your low back. If your low back is comfortable, to straighten out through into a Shavasana. I'm going to invite you to do that today. We'll bring the arms to the side, palms facing the sky. Close the eyes and start to notice the breath coming in through the nose and out through the nose. Continuing your awareness of breath. We're starting with a body scan, just a general body scan from the base of the feet. As you're breathing in and out, notice if your feet feel heavy or light. Maybe one foot feels heavier than the other. And with the foot that feels a little lighter, maybe offer a little bit more heaviness in the bones, more weight. Use your imagination. You can imagine the bones are filled with sand. For example, my right foot was heavier and my left foot was light. So I started to imagine my left foot like a sandbag with weight in it to allow it to start to shift. Taking the body scan up through the ankle into the lower leg. Noticing your knees. Are they both pointed straight up? Or does one have more of a rotation outwards to the side or a rotation inwards? Still maintaining awareness of your breath. Bringing the body scan into the leg bones of the thigh, the femur. Does one feel heavier? Do they feel the same? If you have one that's lighter, maybe offer it a little bit more weight. And taking that awareness into your hip bones, noticing again that quality of lightness, heaviness, softness, hardness, hot and cold. Maybe one hip feels more rotated and open, and one more internal, or maybe one feels more forward and one back. For example, my right hip is rotated anterior forward, so I'm going to just offer some weight in the back of my right hip to soften that rotation. Deep breath in, breathe on out. Coming up into awareness of your belly, the abdominal balloon from the base of the pelvic floor to the diaphragm, these two spaces. Noticing the quality. Is the breath coming into your belly, or are you holding your breath? Taking the breath into kidneys and the back of the ribs. Taking your body scan into the thorax, that rib cage. Noticing the movement in your lungs and heart. Are you holding yourself up in the chest, or is there a relaxed quality, surrendering into your mat, into the earth? Can you feel your collarbones moving with your breath? Taking the scan to the humerus, the upper arm bone, noticing it does one feel heavier or lighter? And maybe offering some weight into the one that feels lighter today. Continuing that awareness to your forearms. Giving weight to the lightness. Breathing on out. So next inhale, bring the awareness into the hands, or the back of the hands surrendered to the mat. How about your fingers? Where are they? Breathing in, taking a big exhale out. Coming up to your head, your skull, your cranium, back of the head. Is it weighted into your mat? Taking a few breaths to skin sensation, even wiggling your toes and your fingers as you do that. Nice. All right. We're going to switch to pandiculation, which is a very fascial stretch. So take a little bit of wiggling. Just kind of waking up. We're going to bring the arms up overhead. Take a yawn. Which is a really good way for resetting vagal tone, the vagus nerve, bringing us into parasympathetic. We'll start with the right foot first. Gently yoke, come into dorsiflexion of the right foot. Reach through the heel, elongating through the right side, up with your fingertips. Even imagine your fingertips touching the wall behind you. Breathe in here. Exhale on out. And switch sides. Reach through the left heel, dorsiflexion, drawing the top of the foot up. Reach through your left fingertips. Breathe in and big exhale out. And take that side to side a little bit, finding your length with the dorsiflexion, wiggling out through the low back. We're going to widen our feet into kind of an inverted V. Say, make a V shape, victory, with the arms. And we're going to do Leonardo da Vinci. And this is to reset our central nervous system and help soften the tension through the spine. It does take some leg strength. We'll start with the right foot first. We're going to reach out through the right heel, dorsiflex through the foot, bring it up, and bring it all the way over your midline and reach the heel to the opposite corner of the ceiling of the room. Then we're going to counter rotate with your eyes. Send your eyeballs into your hands and reach long with your right fingertips. And now take the eyeballs up to the upper corner of the room. Stay here with your breath. Breathe in and out. And exhale. Come back out, if you can, with control, not flopping totally to the floor. Come back to neutral, come into your breath, and notice any change through your right side, especially along the spinal column. Moving on to the opposite side. Inhale, lift up through the left heel, dorsiflex through the foot, active leg, cross over the midline, sending that left heel up to the opposite ceiling. We're picking up our left hip off the floor. Being careful to not over rotate through the base of our spine, counter gaze over the left left shoulder. Reach out through your fingertips. Send the eyeballs to the upper corner of the room. Breathe in and out. And slowly come on out, lowering the vertebra down one at a time, releasing the leg, bringing the head back up to neutral. Take a moment to come into feeling the left side of your spine. If you need to take a break in the V shapes, just relax the arms alongside and breathe the legs in for a moment. We're going to do that again. Come back into V formation. Move a little quicker. Inhale up through the right leg. Bring it over the midline. Shoot it up to the opposite corner of the room. Counter gaze. Look up. Reach long with the eyeballs. Big breath in. Breathe on out. And come on down. Pause for a moment. Feel the change. I'm feeling a lengthening through my spine. Inhale up with the left foot. Cross over the midline. Reach nice and long. Counter gaze with the head. Reach long with the fingertips. Send the eyeballs long. Exhale on out. Roll back down. And come back. Inhale up one more time. Right side. Cross over midline. Gaze out. Opposite. Send the eyeballs long. Big breath in. Exhale on out. Coming back to neutral. Let's do the opposite side. One more time. Inhale, pick up, cross over the midline, send it nice and long. Counter gaze, long eyeballs, breathe in. And exhale on out. Taking a moment to pause here. Bring it back to neutral. Feeling your spine, your back body, connection to the earth. And bend through the knees. Restorative rest posture. Bring the hands on top of the belly. Take a few deep breaths into your abdomen. Feeling your hands filling up with your abdominal balloon. Exhale on out, drawing the navel back towards the spine. And nice big inhale, filling up the abdominal balloon. Exhale on out, drawing the navel back to the spine. And maybe as you're breathing, you're noticing the movement of the spine as you inhale, a gentle rocking of the coccyx, the tail of the sacrum, towards the earth, a gentle lifting of your chin. Exhale, draw the navel back, a gentle tucking of the tail, lengthening the back of the neck. Let's do that 2 more times. Feel the movement through your spine with the breath. The breath helps us move into a cat-cow-like movement through the spine, in flexion and extension. Modified Vipassana, knees to chest pose, drawing the right knee back only. Active foot dorsiflexion, yoking of the foot. Tuck through your chin. Take the breath into the rib cage, back of the kidneys. Full exhalation out, softening the lower ribs. Maybe hug it into your chest, the knees a little bit more. Creating more stretch on the back line. Now point and flex through the feet. Notice if you can feel this through your back line. Padangustasana, extending through the right leg. Interlace your hands on your back. If you prefer to use a strap, you could just take the strap behind on your hamstrings for support, or even on the base of your toes, if that helps you. If you are using a strap, try to be relaxed in your shoulders so that you're not creating the tension from your shoulder blades. Try to be kind of relaxed. Stay here. You want to get a nice myofascial stretch here. Have stillness through the feet. reach up through your heel. Conversely, bring your hip down or your sits bone down in the opposite direction. So we're creating a vector, if you will, opposing directions. Now let's play with this a little bit. Bend through the knee, slacken it. See if you can feel the difference here in the tissue in the back of the hamstrings. Find where it's tight. So mine's more medial. Some people may have it more lateral. And I'm going to grab on to that tight tissue with bent knee. Now I'm going to reach through. I'm going to breathe in. As I breathe out, I'm going to reach through my heel to the ceiling. And because I went medial, I'm going to turn my whole leg outwards, lateral, just kind of a gentle rotation. And I'm going to release that, bent knee again. I'm going to straighten out through my leg and test it. And my leg, it's more easily lengthening through here. So we'll play with that. I'll do the opposite pattern on the other leg. We'll hug back first, left leg. Dorsiflex through the foot. I'm just taking it straight back today. Noticing where I feel the stretch on my back line. Deep, full body breaths. Taking the breath into the kidneys, lower ribs. Full exhalation out. Maybe on your next exhale, when you complete it, hug back the knee a little tighter. Now we'll straighten. Oh, I said point and flex before. Let's come back to that. Just point and flex through the foot. Good. And then we'll straighten out the leg, Padangustasana, Supta variation. Reach the hands. And just see what feels good for you to reach through the heel, drawing the sits bone down. Finding your 2 points of direction. Watch if you have a tendency to lift up with your chin here. Tuck through your chin. Have a neutral neck. Nice deep full body breaths. All right. Take a little micro bend through the knee, feel through your tissues on the back of the hamstring. So again, it's more medial truly on me, but I'm going to demo lateral. I'm going to say my outside line of my hamstrings are tighter, and I'm going to bring those in a direction inward. And I'm going to take a breath in. I'm going to straighten out through my leg, but as I do that, I'm going to rotate in the opposite direction. So I'm bringing those fibers in, but I'm rotating this opposite way. So it's kind of like a counter rotation through the leg. Reach on through the heel with your exhale. And bend through that. You can feel the back to see if you feel a change in the tissues. And then just reach through the leg, and easier for me to extend. Great. Now we're going to move to Dvipadipedam, which is two-legged table posture. not a bridge. Bridge is really about rounding through the thorax, the upper spine. We are going to try to keep it more not rounded. That's basically what we're shooting for today. Find your heels best you can in line with your ischial tuberosities, your sits bones. And we're going to reach with our fingertips here. We want to find a neutral neck. So you can always pause the video and watch, take a break or follow along. But try to not crank with your head and look as you're doing this. We really want the neck to be on top of our spine and nose straight up to the ceiling. And you could close your eyes if that helps you, or send the eyeballs straight up. So first of all, we're going to just do a gentle micro bend cat-cow variation. Inhale, reach through your tail. Exhale, draw the hips down and back. Then from here, inhale, press into your feet, bringing the knees straight forward so that you're engaging the long strap muscles, the erector spinae muscle group on the back body. Bringing that up. If there's no sensation that's uncomfortable in your spine, you can come up to straight between knees and shoulders. Then we'll exhale. We're going to lower down from the upper vertebra first, one vertebra at a time, like laying down a strand of pearls. And when you come on down, relax, complete the breath, and let your sacrum and your hips rock to neutral and feel through your low back, making sure everything feels okay. I'm going to demo this time. If you have sensation, we're going to stay behind it. Inhale, press into the feet, bringing the knees forward. Maybe this is as far as you can go, up through the base of the ribs. Then from here, exhale, lower down. And everybody can try that with me. So imagine that your vertebrae are like a drawer set that you pull out the drawers, but the front of the drawers is here. Like you're going to pull the knobs out. So my fifth lumbar is really behind the belly button about. And when I begin to inhale, I'm going to imagine that vertebra opening up like a drawer to the ceiling. And then when I'm exhaling, coming down, I'm going to imagine it closing. We'll do that for all together. So first, inhale, lengthen through your tail. Exhale, draw the hips down and back. Fifth lumbar opening up on the inhale. Open it up like a drawer. Then exhale, bring it back down. Closing it. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift it up. Opening it, maybe take the fourth lumbar up. Exhale, closing. I'm just not rocking my pelvis back to neutral now. I'm holding it in the down and back posture. Now take it through fifth, fourth, third. See, it's a little higher. Without any pain, exhale, bring that back down. So we're staying behind high sensation levels that we normally call pain. But try to drop the word pain, just use sensation. Now again, relax everything to neutral. Feel your lumbar spine. Should be a natural curvature through here. Reach through your tail on an inhale. Exhale, draw the hips down and back, opening up your trusted drawers. See if you could take it up further. Take it as far up as you want. And when you get to the top, hold for a round of breaths. Your next exhale, we're going to lower down, closing the drawers, one vertebra at a time. If you're getting tired here, you could draw the knees to the chest and stretch it out. And we're going to continue on. We're going to add some more strength pieces today. Bring the fingertips towards the heels. You're going to try to parallel the outer edges of your feet. I have a sneaky left foot, likes to externally rotate. And we're going to bring the arms up. So I'll just demo up the arms first. So when we inhale, we're going to reach long through the arms, bringing them up overhead. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the arms down, syncing it with our breath. When our exhale ends, our fingertips will come back down to the earth. We're going to bring this in line with Dvipadipitam, neutral neck. Again, inhale, reach through your tail. Exhale, draw the hips down and back. Now inhale, press into the feet, send the knees long. Begin to lift up the hands. And as you're opening up the drawers and rotating through the spine, and then your hands will come up overhead. Take a full inhale and exhale up here. And gently come back down, syncing the arm movement with the vertebra. As your butt meets the floor, so do your hands. Soften into neutral, feel your low back. Continue on, inhale, reach through the tail, exhale, bring the hips down and back. Inhale, reach up fingertips, syncing the motion with the breath. Exhale at the top. Let's hold it for 2 more counts. Inhale in. Exhale on out. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, 1 vertebra at a time, syncing the movement as you bring the hands back down. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up, take it as far up as you're comfortable, bringing the arms up overhead. If it's too challenging for you to hold the breath at the top, please don't. Just continue on with the singular 1 breath, 1 movement. Exhale, lower down, 1 vertebra at a time. Soften to neutral, feel your low back. Hopefully it feels like it has more space between the vertebra all around. Inhale, let's do this 1 more time. Dvipadipitam, reach through the coccyx, draw the tops of the hips down and back. Inhale, rock up, bringing the arms up overhead if that feels comfortable for you. Holding for a couple rounds of breath at the top. Exhale, lower back down. Soften to neutral. You can feel your low back. And let's cross the ankles. Draw the knees back across to chest. Switch the crosses of your ankles. Full body breaths. And coming back to heels in line with the ischial tuberosities, the sits bones, grabbing a block. And we're going to do supported bridge. Okay. So the block is going to go right underneath your sacrum. And the top of your sacrum, where you have the fifth lumbar, right here, is going to be more suspended up in space. If this doesn't feel good on your back, please don't do it. What I'm dissuading from is the higher variations using a full block. We're going to do the lowest. This is safer, and that's why we're doing it that way. So we're going to pick up into our feet that we just warmed up. I'm going to find that space for support, but allowing my fifth lumbar to be able to have some space in relationship to the sacrum. And then I'm going to surrender the bones to the block, letting some weight come into my sacrum here. So the weight isn't really in my feet right now. I've just shifted everything on top of the block. Close your eyes and breathe here for a few breaths. And feel the bone. The sacral bone could be a little bit like a goldfish in a goldfish bowl. It likes to swim around. Breathe into your pelvic diaphragm, base of the pelvis. Trusting your body wisdom to make any adjustments that need to happen internally into the abdominal balloon. After your next exhale, re-engage the feet to press into the floor. Just lift it up enough to lower down safely, moving the block to the side. And we'll draw the knees to the chest one more time. You can even rock the legs back and forth a little bit, be a little wiggly. Modified happy baby pose. Even wiggle out through the hips, rock around on your back a little. And if you like to rock and roll, feel free to take a couple rock and rolls, which is coming up and walking on the back. If that's not comfortable in your low back, we'll do the reclining child's pose variation, rolling onto our right side, taking a moment here, extending out through the leg, plant the left hand, and we're going to slowly come back up, bringing the head up last. Come on up. If you have a blanket, you can sit on, or you can use a bolster. We're going to sit on up. Coming into Sukhasana, easy pose. If this is uncomfortable, you can straighten out your legs. Right. You want to find that neutral piece in the base of the sits bone, so not too far anterior, not too far posterior. Wiggle out through your spine, get comfortable. And let's come into the breath. You can lower the gaze over the nose. emptying the mind of the chitta, the chatter, the monkey mind. Breathing into your pelvic bowl, breathing into your rib cage, and breathing into your cranium, your skull. Taking in the sweetness with each inhale. Exhaling out anything that you don't want anymore. Gently open your eyes. Look around the room, just kind of know where you're at. Imagining the space behind you as well. So you're embodying your back body, your side body, and your front body at the same time. We're going to start out to the right, planting the right hand. If this is too hard on your wrist, you can use a block to start up higher. And then from here, we're going to stay in a side line. We're going to reach up the left arm straight to the sky. And you can slide out, even with the block. Take it as far out to the right as you like. Coming into your breath here. Inhale, come back up. Opposite side, planting the left hand. Use a block if you need support. We'll inhale straight on up. You can stay in this variation for a while, lengthening from the top of the hip underneath the armpit. And if you'd like to take it further, if that feels good in your body, working that not rotating through the chest in the rib cage as you do this, making this a true sideline stretch. Try to keep the rotation out of your head. And inhale, come back up. Taking this into a seated twist, taking the right arm behind you, left arm out over opposite quadricep here, and just follow through with a nice big twist right now. Exhale back out to neutral. Take the twist to the opposite side. So if you have shoulder girdle challenges, don't lift the arm up overhead. Just swing the arm behind you. Isolating the twist between the shoulders first, then letting the neck follow. Let's take a couple breaths here. I'm going to just scooch back a little bit for the next sequence so you can see my feet. All right. Bring your legs straight out in front of you, wiggle them out. Again, this is that my el dente cooked spaghetti noodle looseness, fascial, buoy kind of quality wiggle. Okay. Find your sits bones. Just bring your hands underneath. Find the weight here for a moment. Feel the bones of the sits coming into your fingertips and notice if one feels lighter. Bring some weightedness, like the sandbags, into that one. And lift up with your sternum. Get tall through your spine. And then come into dorsiflexion, flex through the feet. So we're not pointing out through the feet. You can slip the hands out and bring them next to your hips. So this is Dandasana, staff pose. Come into your breath here. And then we're going to turn our hands into little spiders and we're going to start to walk them forward and find that first barrier in our body. So mine's right here on my left hamstring. I'm keeping my sternum up. I'm not rounding, so I'm balancing front and back body. And this is moving towards seated forward fold or Paschimottanasana. So we're just exploring where our little barriers are. For a few breaths, we've melted a little. Take a little bit, just a little bit, 5 millimeters maybe, forward. Find that next barrier. Be careful here because the longer we hold, our little brakes and our tendons turned off. So we don't know what's too far. But I'm still trying to stay lifted in my sternum. So that's a good measure. Keep up with the sternum. Now tuck through your chin and round through your head. And this is anatomically a seated forward fold. The base of our feet, the backs of our legs are connected up into our forehead. And inhale, bring that up. Janusirasana A. Bring the left foot in a classic variation right up into the base of your pelvis. We're going to let the right foot be straight ahead along the edge of your yoga mat. So if you have it, just parallel it. If you have a strap, you can grab a strap or a belt and bring it to the base of the toes and use some looseness now. And we're going to take this stretch today over the front leg. So that creates a rotation in the upper body. So we're going to rotate through the shoulder girdle, finding our breastbone in line with our right knee. If you don't have a strap, you just bring the hands behind the leg. And you can think of yourself like a little tree frog, keeping the toes straight up, climbing up. Stay long through your breastbone to start. And then we'll tuck through the chin. Stay with your breath. back up. Beautiful. And wiggle that out a little bit. Let's switch. If one knee is very high up and you feel like you need support, you can also slip a block underneath to help you. And again, I'm going to play with the straps today, but you can bring the hands along. This helps me keep longer in my upper body without rounding through the thorax, the upper vertebra in the back. And I'm just going to hinge, set up so that you're bringing your breastbone towards your knee on the opposite side. This classic variation. It looks like I'm doing something with my arms, but I'm really just looping them so that the strap is kind of loose. And I'm really trying to not use my arm strength. I'm working from my core, long with the sternum, and then I'm going to round through. Breathe into kidneys. And after your next exhale, take an inhale, slowly come back up. We'll deconstruct that, sending any props to the side. Let's wiggle out through the feet. Good. Now we're going to switch to all fours. If it's more comfortable for you to open up a blanket, please do that and bring that underneath for more support. We're also going to need 2 blocks for our ending and towards the end for our downward facing dog. So have those handy if you have those props. And I'm going to opt out of the blanket today, but if you want to open it up, feel free to do that. We're just going to check in to tabletop here. Take a couple cat-cows, make sure your spine feels balanced from front to back. It should. But if it doesn't yet, take some extras and pause the video. And we're going to do thread the needle. So we're going to reach out with our right arm first, parallel. So you can't see my arm on that side. So here it is. This is what it looks like. And then reach on through and come underneath to the ear. So I'm going to do the side I want. Bring in your right ear to the mat. Draw your left hand down by your shoulders. And we're creating a twist through the upper shoulder girdle. And breathe. Inhale, come back up. And then we're going to take, you can wiggle and waggle out a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to take this to the opposite side. Bring out your left hand, thread it on through. Come onto your left ear. Bring the right hand down and back. And inhale, come back up. And again, just shake it out from side to side. So thread the needle or Parsvarpala really focuses on twisting in the thorax and isolating that. And our deltoid muscles, the outside of the arms, are what are down and in to the mat in that variation. And then that can get modified up into a whole bunch of other things, which we'll build on in future classes. But it can also, you can see it in like a twisted cat variation, which you may be familiar with. So we're going to go into a modified plank, which we're going to keep our knees on the mat. Okay. Hands are going to come out in front of you. And we're just going to test this. Make sure our wrists can handle this. Bring your body out, your shoulders over your wrist. Draw your navel back. Find that core support and breathe. And back on out of that. Just lift up on the fingertips, just taking it out of the wrist for a second. Good. And we'll do that again. Inhale, rock forward. Navel comes back. And rock on out of that. It's kind of like we're going back to a child's pose almost, but we're just kind of being looser about it. And let's rock that forward one more time. Inhale. And soften on out of that. Beautiful. Now make your way down for Sphinx pose onto your belly, and you can use this version and hug it in to come on down if you want. In Sphinx, the belly button is touching the mat. We're going to come up onto the forearms, and it's almost like your forearms are a tripod. Sorry, my hair is getting in the way. I'm just trying to get it. And then we're just going to hang out here for a moment. And this is just to balance out through our front line. Feeling your pubic bone into the mat. And as you're breathing into the belly. Really filling up the abdominal balloon. Soften your lower ribs on the exhale. And this is Sphinx pose is a variation of Cobra. So it's a Salamba Bhujangasana. And then we're going to move from here to a modified locust pose, Salambasana. And we'll do that with the kind of a superhero pose. So we're going to bring the arms out to the side, bring our forehead down into the mat, and bring your legs together. And then inhale, pick up your ankles, and then pick up your chest. So it's like you're flying through the air. And if you'd like to add one more little piece, you can bring your thumbs up behind you, opening up the palms in the front of the chest. If this causes sensation in your low back, you shouldn't do it. Exhale, release, lower down. We're going to press into our hands to come on up. Taking a counter pose, a child's pose, just checking into the low back. Especially for people with low back injuries, this is important to go slow and counterbalance. And grabbing the blocks, you can slowly come on up. And we're going to take this into a downward facing dog with support. Lift up on your toes. And I'm going to move to the back so everybody can see me. Bringing the heels down in to the earth. Lift up through your sternum, just like we did in Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So we're not collapsing the front of our chest. If it's more comfortable for you to have a micro bend through the knees, please do that. If you don't have blocks, you can do a fold down dog with your hands on the earth. Just bend through the knees or lift the heels off to modify. We're going to bring the feet forward to meet the hands. Bring your chest to your thighs. Let your arms hang. If it's uncomfortable for you to be in a forward fold, I'm going to ask that you just come on up, nice and slow, unrolling one vertebra at a time. If you can hang here a little bit longer, please do. And start to reach like you're pulling clumps so that you can start to come on up, unrolling one at a time, coming up to a standing posture. And we're going to use the blocks one more time, right out in front of us. And just trying to get to fit in this little screen. That we're going to do standing wide forward fold. So go a little bit wider, and we're going to use our blocks for support. They're going to go underneath your shoulders. Put your hands on your hips. Inhale, lengthen through the front body. Exhale, lower down, leading with your sternum. Bringing the hands on the blocks for support. You can stay here with a nice long back. Bend through the elbows. And we're pressing more into the pinky side. This is a lateral pose. Sideline. And breathe. Inhale, come back up to a half lift. You can swing your arms out in front of you to help you come on up. Exhale them down. Wiggle the feet back together and come up to standing. Stacking the hands just below the belly. And feel free to stay here for a few moments, breathing or taking a seated meditation posture for a little bit. And when you're ready to close your practice, we'll bow forward in Namaste. Have a beautiful day. Thanks, everybody. If you like this practice on YouTube, please hit like.